Everybody, I can't believe it. For the most part, the Lego room is clean right now. Oh, that feels so good. Welcome back to another Lego City update. Today we are going to be addressing the elephant in the room. Unfortunately, I do not mean that elephant right there. We're not going to start working on the zoo today just because this is an eyesore. The platform coverings. Oh my gosh, it looks so bad. I've got to get that tidied up before we start working on the zoo. Do you not agree? Look at that. It looks absolutely terrible. We've got cliff edges, platform coverings, random water base plates, this not blended in properly. It just doesn't look that good. The sets are just sort of placed on top there and it needs to be addressed. So that's what I'm going to be working on all day today. And we actually have to start this project at the very far end, right over there behind the loop coaster. Because we actually have to shorten the raised table section here in the Lego City. When I originally built this platform, I built it using multiple sections. So it's very easy for us to just remove a section if we want to shorten it. So I'm going to be removing this one here. It sort of spans behind the amusement park here. It's very hard to reach the far corner. And I just don't think that we need it raised up right here. And this is actually going to give us more space for the amusement park so I can slide that loop coaster back. I know it shortens the platform and the platform is pretty nice, but I think having just this section over here is perfectly fine. So I'm actually going to remove this platform right here. Oh my gosh, remember when I dropped this thing? Or did I step on it? Oh, I can't remember, but the graveyard is absolutely destroyed right now. Let's remove that as well. Now that that's dealt with over there, I'm going to hop back over here and deal with the base of our mountain because this clearly is the wrong panel. In fact, that panel there with the train entrance used to be over here. So I essentially need to rebuild that panel, but with a road entrance. And then I need to rebuild that panel, but with a train entrance in the cement covering. So yeah, all of that work is pretty much void, which is rather annoying, but I might be able to modify that panel to fit back over here, and then I might be able to use this panel elsewhere. You see what I mean? When I brought this train entrance panel, which was over there, back to its original position, it completes that mountain pretty well. Granted, we need to do a bunch of slope work here. Luckily, we have the slopes to do that today, so we can make them all look fantastic. There you go, look at that. Slopes, no slopes. Slopes, no slopes. Looks a lot better, doesn't it? I've decided to make some changes to the road and rock panel layout over there. This is the first panel that I'm rebuilding. Doing it a little bit differently, just staggering these a little bit, just to round it out a bit on the base of the mountain. Before I start adding 100,000 slopes, let's just test fit it here. And right off the hop, I can see that this panel actually needs to move back. See how there's a difference there? In regards to the road layout, I did change it. It used to curve here, but now I'm going to change it so it's a T. A little more square and structured. That actually reduces this area here to 2 base plates wide rather than 3, which is going to be a little bit easier to work with. It also opens up this plate here, and then it opens up some plates here on the base of the mountain. And I've got some ideas with like a creek and some water running underneath roads and stuff like that. So with these changes, that's going to be a little bit easier to do now. I guess at this point, the next thing that I have to do is add all the slopes. Oh my gosh, that is such a monotonous task, as you can imagine, adding all of these slopes to make it look like that. Just takes a long time and is just sort of repetitive. I also have to do it here as well because this is all rectangular looking, so that's got to change. When building rock panels, you can essentially put as many slopes on there as you want. Obviously, the more you put on there, the better it's going to look. This is sort of what I did. I think it looks pretty good. We've got lots of slopes in different sizes. We've also got some bamboo and then some of the cheese slopes as well in light gray and dark gray. I'm really excited to place these in the Lego City, so why don't we do that? Took a little bit of rendering, but man, I think that looks pretty good, hey? Yes! It's all blended in beautifully now for the first time ever, actually. There is this little bit of water coming down here, there's a little waterfall. And I didn't continue it on that rock panel there. I'm not sure if I want water to come down there anymore because this is like the entrance to the zoo. So I'm not going to finish that for now until I know what I'm doing with this surrounding area. You know what I mean? If I have the water come down here and then later on I'm like, that makes no sense. Then I'd have to redo all the work. And I just redid all this work and now I've got to take this apart and redo that work. The joy of changing a Lego city, there's a lot of repercussions, and I change my city all the time, as you know. The platform coverings are getting there. The next one that we have to work on is this one here. And this is where the train will enter into a tunnel. Now this one's going to be a little bit challenging because I have offset my train track. You can see it's on the edge of a base plate right here. So I'm going to have to build a double wide platform covering. So it's 2 base plates, similar to this one here, but obviously it's not going to be rocks. It's going to be the cement covering. So I've got to build a double wide one with a train entrance or a train tunnel. And I'm just going to take the tunnel from this one here. So essentially I've got to rip this one apart, try and preserve that tunnel, and then rebuild it with the cement walls just like this. That went really well. It feels like that took a very long time. That's because it did. I forgot how part intensive these platform coverings are. It's actually insane. Specifically this one here because it's double wide and it also has the tunnel entrance there. But you can see how I built it out a little bit further. Got a nice combination of new gray and old gray, unfortunately, just because I'm out of new gray and whatever. I don't think the old gray looks too bad mixed in with the new gray. And also I've got some masonry bricks in there, some snot bricks mounting the leaves. And then we've got some of those rock panels on the bottom here that are nicely detailed with a bunch of slopes and bamboo and stuff like that. I had to use inverted slopes on the top here. That's just because I was out of the normal arches that I use. You can see them on this platform covering right there. Now, I was sort of not too happy about this. You see how the arch, maybe I should have moved this arch over, but then it would be like wider here. I'm not sure what I want to do there. Maybe that looks sort of strange, you know, maybe I should take this arch, move it over 2 studs so it starts on this brick, and then it just frames the tunnel, but then it's not going to be symmetrical here. This is going to be too wide, and this is going to be wider. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do there. And the reason it's sort of weird is because the tunnel is offset to accommodate that train track that, once again, is on that road plate there, right on the very edge of it. Looks pretty neat, though. Very part intensive. I'll show you the back of it very quickly here. Yeah. Look at that. There's a sticker element. Oh, I'm missing a brick there. That's okay. We'll get by. But yeah, that's what the back looks like. You can see how many bricks go into this thing. I was using panels. I was using old gray, new gray, whatever I had to try and make it work. Then you can see some colors along the top there. I'm pretty excited about this though, because I think this is the last platform covering that we need to create. So let's go place it. There we go. That looks pretty good now. You can't see the table legs anymore. Woo! I'm pretty happy about that. Very cool. The train track's connected too, so the train should be operational. Maybe we'll try in this video. I don't know yet. Okay, but one thing I have to do is just clip these together somehow. You can see there's a little bit of separation. Maybe I should have put Technic pins in the bottom of them so they could all be pinned together, but Technic pins are sort of a pain in the behind, you know, like when you want to make changes and stuff like that. So what I think I'll do is probably just put like one tile clipping the base plates together or the mills plates together on the base of it, or I'll do something up top, like whatever I decide to do. Maybe there'll be one tile up top on the water plates that are connected to it or something like that. We still need to figure out what we're doing with the top as well, though. What am I going to do with the water, the road, etc.? Because it's still sort of an eyesore. You can see some color, right? And there's white table there. I'm not a huge fan of that, so I've got to figure out what I'm going to do there. Also, I built this temple platform with the little fishing shacks there for the Ninjago sets, and that doesn't really work there. So the sets placed up top here are still sort of random and not really finalized, and neither is the layout, obviously. So I need to figure out what we're going to do here to blend this water in and make this water reservoir up top here. Evidently, just taking base plates and putting them there isn't going to work. Like that's not proper. Got to come up with something different. I think I've come up with a pretty good solution. I've actually pushed the Ninjago buildings back against the wall, and then I was able to slide those water base plates back. And then this is what I did to the platform covering, is I actually added a layer of 1x gray brick and topped that with tiles, so that's sort of like a retaining wall there. And then I added a 4x plate to the back in black so that it matches our base plates there. I just broke it, no big deal. But then that's just going to extend our water, and it should blend in nicely. Just like that there. Now I know that leaves a lot of water up front here, and it removes the water from behind Ninjago, which isn't realistic. However, you couldn't see the water back there, and you can't see the backside of Ninjago either way. I am sort of digging that. Ultimately, I would like to match the roads over here. You see how they have the masonry bricks and the 1x1 cylinders with the tile top? I'd like to match that. However, in order to do that, I would have to have 1x plate that could go on the bottom, and I just don't have enough 1x plate. So I just can't do that right now based on the inventory that I have. But I think that looks pretty good, and I think that's the solution I'm going to run with here for the water portion of the Ninjago platforms. However, I might want to sleep on it because, as we all know, I change my mind so many times, and doing all of the work multiple times is honestly getting exhausting for me. Building these platform coverings in the mountain and rebuilding it and then destroying it and rebuilding it is just becoming exhausting. It's not like those are Lego sets where everything is unique and different. Those are just sort of monotonous builds where you do the same thing over and over again, and they're very, very part intensive. I did decide to essentially clear this platform up top here. Not sure what we're going to do. I don't know if this is going to be the road layout because this is like a one-way road. That's not really going to work for us. So I think the road up here has to change. So I don't know. Maybe I have to do the same thing that I did with the water and eventually have buildings pressed right up against the back and then have a full road up here, because that would leave room for a 16 stud road. I wouldn't be able to do a full road like this because these have like the road extensions and these are 32 studs, but I would be able to have just the road plate up top here and have it normal. And then I could do the blockade on here, and then we could have a full row of buildings back there. But then I wouldn't be able to fit the facades unless I put narrow buildings if we decide to do that. So there's so many different things that we could do up here. And also another thing that I need to think about is how our vehicle is going to get up there. Honestly, what I'm thinking of doing is just putting one of these up top here that connects with the roads. And then I can just say, you know what, that's the tunnel entrance going up there. Do I really need to find out or figure out a way to have a road ramp going up top there? I'm not sure. I don't think we need that. What I could do is build stairs going up there, or I could build like a stair entrance and just say, okay, well, that's where the minifigures are coming up there from. And then I could have a tunnel entrance on top there, like, hey, that's where the minifigure vehicles are coming up. What do you think of that? Is that okay? Is that going to pass? I think it does, personally. Remember at the beginning of this video when I was like, yeah, my room's all clean? Definitely not the case anymore. I have literally been working on the city all day and officially all night. That's 3 a.m. right there. Granted, there has been some distractions throughout the day, but it's looking pretty good. The raised platform is looking fresh. Check it out. So I actually did change up the roads here, and I took the 4x gray plate that has the wall and the tile and put it onto the actual coverings. And then I converted all of the roads back to like their standard look. So now they're 16 studs wide. So now we can have a row of buildings going along the back wall there and have road in front. This isn't on a mills plate yet, but when it is on a mills plate, there will be a sidewalk there, which will look pretty good, similar to what we have with the facades right there. But when we do our mills plates, we can't use colors. They've got to be solid, probably light gray for sidewalks. Sorry, it's late at night. And yeah, the facades, I want to move them to the back row, but maybe we have to use the facades as actual buildings. Maybe I have to put doors in them. Maybe I have to extend the back so that it goes to the back wall. Maybe I actually have to turn those into skyscrapers. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. Or once again, I can push them to the back wall and we can put smaller structures in front of them and have them as facades in the background of the city. Got to cross that bridge when we get there. Now, I did clip the platforms together just by using these tiles. So I've got a little bit of work where I've got to evenly space these tiles to get rid of some of these studs here as well. I've still got to deal with these Ninjago structures down here. Also, I've got to deal with the 8 studs house. I would imagine eventually I'm going to work in that Ninjago temple platform somewhere in this vicinity. Maybe take that extra space, maybe once again shuffle those to the back, bring over the Spring Lantern Festival, and then somehow work it in here. Now I am going to do the tunnels rather than having a ramp going up. I think I'm going to have a tunnel just behind the haunted house there and just beside the Spring Lantern Festival. So it's sort of like an entrance and an exit. I don't know if the haunted house is going to stay there. Things can change. And I did finish my water. You see that? It's all done. There is a little bit of differences in height. You see it's a difference there, but it's not over there. So I think I just need to put some shims underneath the legs of this platform just to raise it up a bit so that this doesn't happen. That looks sort of weird. Can't really see it on camera and can't really see it from afar. It's sort of like an optical illusion. I also need to clip some of my base plates together so that doesn't happen there. I also extended the sidewalk right here. This is just like a Mills plate. It's chilling there. And then hopefully I can connect all this together and get some nice vehicles and stuff up here and just sort of make this look a little bit better. I would like to add some greenery and some shrubs and some bamboo and stuff in the water, but I just wanted to get the rough draft of this layout done. The tunnel's looking pretty good though. I like that. There is some realignments and stuff that have to happen with all of these Mills plates. And then down here, this is where we're going to do some sort of water feature with the Venetian houses. Once I get that structure built, I'll have to place it here and figure that out. Then once again, I have to fix this road here, but I think the water is going to somehow come down here and go under a road. I'm going to build like a road that goes sort of up, flat, and then down, and the water can trickle underneath it. So maybe the water will come down somehow and trickle underneath, or come down here and trickle underneath and create some sort of pool of water for the Venetian houses. We'll have to figure that out when that time comes. And then I've got a bunch of open space here that we've got to deal with. Open space like everywhere right now. So that is awesome. I love that. I love having open space to do stuff with. But I think we accomplished a lot today. The mountain looks good. This looks good. The train tunnel entrance looks pretty sweet, I think. And the new design for the water up here and the way we capped these platform coverings, I think looks really good for the water and also for the roads as well. I had a tremendous amount of fun working on all of this today. It was pretty awesome. It feels really good to get that platform covered up. You can no longer see the table legs. You can no longer see any white tabletop, which is awesome. I can't wait to continue working on it, especially with the integration of those Bricklink designer program sets, being the Venetian houses and also the bowling alley. And then we got some more rebrickable models and hopefully some custom mocks and hopefully a custom zoo coming out in the near future. As you can see, it's a huge mess in my Lego room. So I got to go edit this video and work on cleaning up all this stuff all over the place and get some sleep. So everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. Remember, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. Farewell.